that, this is what we're going to be calling the ultimate sound, is having the Sonarworks Studio reference, having that stable platform of sound on all devices, and on top of that, start to personalize the sound to your individual hearing and your individual preference, and summing that into the ultimate sound, which means having the sound you like and having it everywhere. So in the application, there are some personalization features already available, very basic level, so some bass boost and some general data-based hearing correction of hearing loss over age.
Okay.
Now,
You talking about me?
I didn't mention any names.
Okay, let's go. All right, carry on.
So in the future, something we are trying to overcome is having personal sound preference discovery and having that effortlessly. So instead of tweaking things yourself, trying to find it yourself, we are trying to optimize the way you can find your personal preference with the help of some AI techniques, which will hopefully also be available in Q2. And we will have a demo of this shortly.
Okay, hold on a second. I got a rogue phone.
Rogue phone alert.
All good. In the future, that noise will be calibrated. And it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
So finding your sound preference, driven by AI. The next part is individual hearing measurement. So building on the stable, the consistent platform of the studio reference sound, of it sounding the same everywhere. So we know how the headphones sound, and we correct that. Mm-hmm. On top of that, measuring your hearing on that, we can get a very accurate data of what your hearing is like. Because we're already correcting the headphone, instead of measuring your hearing on headphones that already don't have a lot of highs, you'll get a false positive of how bad your hearing is or good your hearing is. In our case, we can make a much more accurate judgment of your hearing. And so that we're also planning for Q2, and sort of having those two as the main aspects of personalization coming out this year. So summing up, instead of just a mobile application, what it really is building a consistent and cross-platform ecosystem, meaning the same sound everywhere on all your devices, and delivering the ultimate personalized sound experience, which is individual for everyone, and trying to find that as quickly as possible. So I think we can bring you to the next demo.
I'll need another volunteer.
Mary, you're up. Now, I have the app on my phone, but that was the beta.
Okay.
The early one.
Like a year ago.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they sent it out to me and they said, do this. And I said, okay. You know.
So there's a completely new one now. So. All right. No, it's important to hear.
Yeah.
But give the new one around because we rebuilt it from scratch.
So I mean, this is going to be a very kind of elaborate preference testing because you'll be selecting a genre of music that you prefer. We will suggest going for the same rock genre because, as I mentioned before, it has so much information to work with, making those decisions later on much more easier. Okay. So this app will let you kind of find out your sound preference of what the music you listen to, or how the music you listen to should sound according to your own preference. Okay. So why don't we start by picking the song, or the genre in this case. Or it's going to probably move around anyways. So. Okay. Should we go for the rock? Let's go for rock.
This ought to be interesting.
So, here we have the kind of user interface of this preference test. And so, after I hit play, there will be a song playing, what you heard before in the previous demo, the Rage Against the Machine one. And between A and B, this app will kind of offer you two different sound spices or tastes, if you will. And you'll be able to flip between them and figure out which one of these you like the best. And you make the selection under here with these two letters. If you're flipping around and without making the decision, the app will provide you with a third option that, there's no difference for me. Essentially, this will skip this step, and you'll be able to get to the next selection. So in the end, we'll get you a sound preference curve, and we'll carry on from there.
Promise?
I do promise. So, let's just press play, and we will take these headphones on, and then just flip between those. So, you make the selection over here, and then you choose over here. So, you have the selection over here. Or here. All right, then we can flip around more, and no difference.
And you have to go up to the beat. You have to test these back and forth first, and then determine which one you like best.
Oh, sorry.
Oops.
So-
Go to B.
And make sure you flip between these.
Oh, she likes that already. What's going on right now and what they're doing?
So essentially, at every step, you're going to be comparing two different sound targets. So two different sounds, two different ways the music is sounding. Through a sequence of these tests, at the end, you will have the result, which essentially should be your preference. So instead of having to tweak knobs or sliders, through this kind of an approach, you're not even thinking about adjusting it. You simply have to make a choice, A or B, and ideally we can pinpoint what you like through this test. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So, now that we have a curve. All right. So now that we've selected a curve, so we'll move over to these two headphones. And so you heard how this sound preference sounds on these headphones, and you'll be able to kind of match the same sound experience on these two completely different sets of headphones. One is very popular, trendy type of headphone. This is very popular, bit lower priced consumer end headphone, and they two sound completely different on their own. But with the help of our Sonarworks studio reference technology, we are able to bring them and tie them back together to the same sound standard with the preference applied on top of it. All right? So, what we'll do here is we'll start by listening to the song, and start by putting these on. And so what we're gonna do is I'll turn the calibration off midway. So now we're listening to these. Yeah, so this is no longer needed.
You don't need that any longer. You don't need that anymore.
So, so what we're doing here is, so hopefully now these sound as the same way as these sounded. Hopefully they do. All right, and now they shouldn't sound the same. They should sound now completely different.
Okay.
All right. So, and we can also do the same thing with these headphones.
Oh, I like that.
All right, there we go. And now I'm going to turn the calibration off. Right? With on, and now it's off. And on, right? So this is essentially what we were capable of achieving with this very simplified kind of AI-driven test, and we'll be able to improve upon all of this technology in the future because we're working on or with a huge amount of data to kind of improve, and we're kind of trying to become more accurate with these predictions as well of what you could prefer. So
I'm
that's
not a rock person, but I like that.
that's good. That's a good sign.
All right. I hope we weren't picked up on your. Okay, good, nothing.